You've been told that discipline is the key to overcoming procrastination, but what if this was actually a myth that was destroying your productivity and focus? In this video, I'm going to give you a simple mental hack that literally anyone on the planet can use to quickly overcome procrastination and become more productive. And I'm also going to explain to you the science behind why discipline alone doesn't usually work. But first, let me explain to you what happened to me when I didn't use this mental hack and the change it made when I began to use it. For many years, I wanted to learn how to write better. I wanted to learn how to articulate my thoughts and share them with others and become a better speaker ultimately. But despite having this very clear vision of what I wanted, I could never get myself to actually sit down and practice writing. For some reason, I had this strong resistance to the act of writing that whenever I tried to do it, my mind would come up with all these reasons as to why I shouldn't do it in the moment, and basically I would always put it into the future. I'd say, oh, I'll start next week when I have more time, or now's not the time because I don't have a good idea. I gotta wait for a good idea to pop up into my mind first. But of course, everyone knows this kind of thinking leads to no results, because that day never comes when you have the perfect idea. That day never comes when you finally really feel like writing. Okay, and even if it does, that's only one day out of the year maybe, so you can't be consistent with that kind of mentality. And this pattern manifested in other areas of my life as well. Whenever I tried to make a positive change in my life, like let's say I wanted to improve my sleep schedule, or I wanted to quit a bad habit like eating sugar or something, I would always run into this same pattern. I would procrastinate on the change I wanted to make, or I'd make a change for a bit and then I backslide back into my old ways. And I always thought that the solution to this problem must be more discipline, it must be more willpower. So I should exert more willpower, and then I could experience the change that I wanted to have. That's what everyone told me. Everyone told me you got to be more disciplined, you got to have more willpower. But whenever I tried to do this, whenever I tried to force myself to make a change, maybe I'd make a little bit of progress, but eventually I'd just burn myself out and I'd go back into my old ways. This kept happening until I made this mental shift, and suddenly what began to happen is I began to do the things that I was procrastinating on before almost automatically. I fixed my sleep schedule, I started waking up way earlier, I quit sugar, I started writing every single day, all of which were very challenging things for me to do beforehand. Now, before we get into the mental hack, it's very important that we understand the nature of willpower and how it works. A psychologist named Roy Baumeister discovered something very interesting about discipline and willpower. He basically found that willpower is a finite resource that gets depleted. This means that when we run out of it throughout the day, it becomes very challenging to do things that require it. This explains why we often find ourselves struggling to maintain focus and self-control as the day progresses. Every decision that we make and every act of self-control, from resisting that cookie or making that tough decision at work, draws from this well of willpower. And as this well dries up, our ability to maintain focus and resist temptations diminishes. So here's the mental shift. Being productive isn't really about disciplining yourself and really trying to force yourself to do things. It's more about setting up your life to minimize the amount of willpower that you use throughout the day. Because when we understand that willpower is a finite resource that gets depleted, we can start thinking of ways to save it up so that when we really need it, we have it at our disposal. How do we do that? I'll give you a really quick example from my own life. Last year, I wanted to start journaling every morning, but naturally I felt a lot of resistance to doing this new thing. So what I did was I found that if I set up my room in a way that made journaling in the mornings very easy and frictionless for me, then I would be much more likely to actually do it. So what I did was, before I went to bed, I'd place my journal on my desk, open it up, put a pen next to it. I'd have a glass of water next to my journal. I'd even have a timer there set for 10 minutes, just prepared and ready there, because 10 minutes was the amount of time I wanted to spend doing the journaling. So when I woke up in the morning, I just see my desk there and the journal just inviting me to start writing. And that was the key. That made it very easy for me to adopt that new habit. Here's the easiest and fastest way to begin applying this in your own life. Number 1, decide on the change you want to make. Be very specific about it. In this example, let's assume it was reading 10 pages every day. 2, figure out what you can do to set up your life so that the change you want to make, the action that you want to take, happens automatically. Do this by asking yourself, how could I set up my life so that the change I want to make, in this case reading 10 pages a day, would happen automatically? I might place the book that I want to read on my pillow every morning after making my bed so that every evening I see it there and it's inevitable that I have to pick it up. Now, the third step is kind of a bonus step. If you really want to give some power to this and you really want to make it inevitable that you make the change that you want to make, you might want to tell a friend about it and basically set up some kind of negative consequence for not doing the thing that you want to do. So you might tell your friend, if I don't read 10 pages every day, I'm going to give you 10 euros. For every day of not reading 10 pages, I will have to give you 10 euros. Something like this. Something that gives you a little bit of extra external pressure for doing the thing that you want to do. It's all about removing the friction between you and the new behavior. Most of us go through life trying to do things with a lot of friction involved because we never take the time to actually set up our lives to support the change that we want to make. So we spend needless amounts of energy and willpower trying to do things that we could have done with a lot less effort if we were smart about it. But now you know. So I invite you to decide on an action that you've been procrastinating on. You know the thing that you've been procrastinating on. You know the thing that you should be doing, but you're not doing. So decide on that action, write it down in a notebook, and then commit to setting up your life in a way that makes taking that action happen almost automatically. Okay, it's never going to be completely automatic. You're always going to need some amount of discipline and willpower, okay? But make your life so that the thing that you want to have happen is very easy. Remove the friction, okay? Remove the friction between you and the action. That's the key. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and if you got value out of it, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos about learning and human behavior. If you're someone who's interested in understanding the human mind, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Also, if you're interested, I am currently offering extra support through one-on-one coaching sessions. These are coaching sessions that I'm currently offering for free. Okay, I'm offering one 60-minute session for anyone who's interested for free. So if you want to take advantage of this resource and you want to get clarity over what you want in life and where you're going, I suggest that you click the link in the description, schedule a time, and we can talk then. All right, that's all for today. Thanks. Peace.